So, do you guys remember last year when I posted a 1 year later kind of drawing video where I redrew a sketch that I did a year previously? If you don't remember, here's the thumbnail for that, and also here are the two sketches that appeared in that video. Essentially, 2 years ago, I got my Huey on tablet, and one of the very first drawings I did was Sword Girl, and I was very proud of the drawing at this time. So I kind of showed it everywhere and was like, "Hey, this is super cool! I'm so excited! I love this drawing." But then a year later, I realized, man, I was so proud of this, and it sucks because this is before I ever took art seriously. In fact, around this time, I was still doing spray painting as my main medium and was not really focused on sketching or learning anatomy or anything like that. So as a year has passed, I decided to redraw it, and that's essentially why I made that video early on in my YouTube's career, quote unquote. And I like how it looks, but once again, we have arrived at a point where a year later, I think it's a little inadequate. I don't think it's very good anymore. I like it. I still hold very fond memories of both of these drawings, but I have been in my art journey for almost officially a year now. In about 8 days, it will be the channel's 1 year anniversary and it will also be my art journey's anniversary because I started both of them at the exact same time. It was just kind of like, once I make this video, we go for it, we launch, and we get this done. So, that being said, because it is October 11th and we have 8 days left until the New Year's, it is about time I redraw Sword Girl. Now, the sketch in the background, you probably have noticed by now, it is not a Sword Girl sketch. I did not record it for some reason. I just kind of went along and started drawing it, and I totally forgot to click record on Streamlabs. But I will show a 90-second or a 60-second speed draw of the entire process once I reveal the drawing. But I just want to say that this drawing means a lot. It kind of shows how much I've improved this past year. I've done a lot. I've done a lot of posing. I've learned a lot of anatomy and construction, and I'm very proud of how far I've gone in just simply a year. But before we get that, I do want to show you the two other versions I did have. I did have two other versions I drew before this finalized one. The first version I'm going to show here isn't colored. It is just a sketch because I gave up very soon, and it's this one right here. Now, the reason why I gave up on this one was because I think the posing was a little awkward. To cut short, the reference I had the hands slightly foreshortened and her chest fully at a side angle. But when I drew out the sketch, I don't know why, but I subconsciously tilted her body a little more so you can see the front of her body slightly. And that, even if you don't think so, changes the pose just enough to have to change the arm's direction of where she's pointing the sword. So when you look at the reference and you look at her, it looks really awkward. I don't usually try to draw references one for one, but I really liked the pose on the reference. So with that in mind, because I made a slight change, it kind of threw off everything, and I ended up hating it so much that I just threw away the entire drawing. I actually did get to coloring it, but it's so bad. The foundation of the sketch is so bad, I decided to throw the entire thing out. Now, the second one is a lot better. In my opinion, I had a lot more fun with this, and I also got through the full coloring thing. But once I finished the sketch, I realized that it kind of sucks. Like, objectively, in my opinion, it's not very good. And the reason is because it doesn't show any of my improvement that I've made in the past year, besides the coloring. Because I did learn a little bit of coloring this past year, because that was one of my New Year's resolutions. But the problem is that the pose that she does is too similar and too basic to the year previously, and it doesn't really show and convey how much I've actually improved in the past year, because you don't see any foreshortening, you don't see any really cool posing, you don't see anything of improvement or of massive improvement besides the coloring and the fact that there is coloring at all. So I decided to throw this away. But finally, in the end, I decided to find a pose that I really, really did enjoy, and I decided that this was going to be it, and this is what I came up with. Boop! Right now, you're probably watching the 60-second sketch, so I'm going to go quiet for a second while you guys watch this. So that was it. That was essentially the finalized sketch. Here it is right here. Once again, just so you guys can love it and look at it and fully envelop it. I'm really proud of it. I'm really happy with it. Now, I am unhappy with the fact that I didn't color it. That's because even though I did learn coloring this year, I'm still not very proud or happy with how I color. I think there's a huge improvement that can be made, and I think there's a lot more to grow from that section. So I'm going to leave it out this year, and hopefully next year when I redraw Sword Girl, once again, I will add coloring to it and maybe even a background, as long as I'm happy with my backgrounds at that point. But honestly, I'm very, very happy with this drawing. I think the overlapping of the body parts, the foreshortening, the super cool dynamic posing, and I really think the little personality of the slash text box in like a manga style thing is just really cool and really fun. But overall, I think this encapsulates how much I've improved. The stuff that I've practiced the most this year is posing, is construction, is anatomy, or at least a little bit of anatomy, and just finding a way to make my poses just look more appealing and look more action packed. Like it's more fun to look at than just a simple standing T pose, like a character design pose. So because this is what I reached for out the most this year, I'm very proud that the one that I drew represents it really well. So yeah, that's Sword Girl. Now, I do have another video intended on my channel's anniversary, so I won't say too much about my progress this year, but I just want to say thank you for sticking around for me this year, and I hope you guys like Sword Girl Part 3, because next year we're going to have Sword Girl Part 4, and hopefully there's also going to be another big improvement. We don't know, though. Take care, though. Take care for now. I'll see you guys in 8 days. Just a little short video. Have a wonderful one. Drink lots of water. I have a Fresco right here. I'm not gonna... It's not really water. It's sparkling water, but it's good. And have a wonderful one. Bye-bye.